How's it? Is college a scam? It's funny, as you grow up, you go through your whole education life, school, nursery school, high school, and then eventually you get to this big decision after many years of studying whether or not you're going to pursue your life even further in education in college. The reason it might be a scam, or some may see it as a scam, is because everything is online nowadays. You can find whatever you want online, from video games, movies, all the way to this case, education. I'm going to be talking about and breaking down, is it worth it? Is it worth paying these enormous quantities of money to further your education when really all that information is out there and you can learn it yourself at the click of a button on your phone? As someone who does go to college and is currently in college, I think I have quite a good perspective on this. There are a couple benefits that I must say you won't get otherwise if you don't go to a physical college in person. First of all, I'd like to talk about the social aspect. Socially, it's brilliant. I've moved away from a small town in Africa all the way to the big city of Dublin in Ireland. With that comes a whole bunch of opportunities, new faces, new people, things to do, different experiences I would never have been able to have unless I came here. That goes from one side to the other side on the spectrum. Education, learning, meeting new people, making new friends, all the way to seeing crackheads on the street, smoking their pipes and pissing on trains. Now obviously that's a pro and a con if you think about it, because life experiences, and ultimately it's led to me being able to tell a couple quite interesting stories on this channel which you may or may not have seen before. So in terms of socializing, experiencing the world, I honestly do believe college is worth it. The independence you gain, being able to officially be an adult, live on your own, grow up, is enormous. The amount of mental maturity you experience within a short period of time is none other, something you won't get anywhere else but from the experience of college. Now the meat and potatoes of it all, education wise. For a large majority of people, it's not worth it. You can get so far in life without a college education nowadays. The majority of companies, in fact, don't even look at your CV and education beyond high school levels unless it's a very specific job. I almost feel as if college is a maturing place rather than an education place. It teaches you how to study properly, how to be dedicated towards a common goal, and to ultimately show your worth as someone who can be trusted with spending a large quantity of time and persevering through their education. The money side is a whole different ordeal if you ask me. It's expensive. It's actually outrageously expensive, but it makes sense. You're learning skills that are going to make you money in the future, and in some cases vast amounts of money, way more money than you would have initially invested. However, the loans, debts, etc. aren't worth it for some people. They would rather begin making money on their own without the assistance of a higher education. If you think about it in terms of money, and you were given the sum of money that you spend during your whole academic time in college, do you think you'd be able to make more money with that money? Or would you rather invest it into your education and gradually build it back, as well as make more in the future? That's a question I've asked myself a couple times. It's made me think, is this really the right path for me? Is this really what I want to do? Is this really the best and most beneficial thing towards my life and my careers ahead of me? My truthful answer is yes. It allows for me to study towards a bigger goal that I believe I will achieve, as well as explore other interests such as this, YouTube, all within the freedom of my own life. It's no longer a life controlled by parents, guardian, a smaller schooling system where they watch you like an eagle. Now it's all up to you. Do you want to go to lectures? Well, good for you. Do you not want to go to lectures? Well, no one's going to chase up on you. It doesn't really matter. And that's the great thing about it. That's where the maturity comes in. You have to recognize the importance of what you're doing, because at the end of the day and in the real world, no one else is going to be pushing you. If you don't pitch up to work, you're going to get fired. As simple as that. If you don't go to your lectures, you're more than likely not going to pass and succeed in your exam. I would imagine that studying purely online through the internet as your main source of education, even if you're still pursuing a degree, it would still be vastly more difficult. The self-discipline to sit down and actively study when you know no one's watching you is an incredibly difficult task. At least with college, you still have the looming idea of the money that you're putting into this and the time, and if you don't succeed, you've wasted it. Whereas if you were to do it online with no consequences, you'd more than likely not care. For me at least, I think it's a great idea. Not in terms of the education, but rather the testing trusting of yourself and your self-ability to control and dedicate yourself towards a specific craft for a multitude of time. The added bonus of making new friends, meeting people, having great experiences, being able to do what you want. You want to get drunk on a Thursday night? Why not? I think that gives a bit of a leeway into the story I'm going to tell now. And I think it's quite a good sum up of the college experience. Ideally, why I think it is a scam, however, the rewards you reap from it are great. In my first semester, I was known to have a lot of fun. On a Sunday morning, I made my way out to a little town called Carlo, where I met up with my friend, and we had a very, very fun and entertaining evening. As the evening progressed, I realized the sun was beginning to rise, and I had to get back home to Dublin to reach my lectures in the morning. I got the soonest train, and I made my way over back to Dublin.
This was a horrendous idea. I have an hour to get home.
With zero sleep and still incredibly inebriated. It was a great time. It brings a smile to my face thinking about it right now. And yet, at the same time, it was so difficult because I had to push myself in order to realize that with the fun that I've had, I'm still responsible for my education. As I got home, I had a shower trying to sober myself up and lugged myself over to college, where I spent the next 9 hours studying. Was the studying particularly effective? Not particularly. Was I incredibly proud of myself for pushing myself through it and getting to the other side of that day, knowing I'd put all my all into that education experience? Yes, very. And I think if you can take anything from that, it's the balance that you're able to have between fun and education, and being able to see what is more important and drive yourself towards that goal. Ultimately, I ended up doing fine in my first year. So, you know, think what you may want, but that sort of tactic seemed to have worked for me. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and leave your opinion on whether or not you think college is a scam. Personally, I don't think so. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.